tells me we're live, but I'm not sure I believe it.
It could be a clever ruse.
It could be AI, like apparently YouTube thinks I am. Oh, hell. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Monk. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
Jack, how you doing this morning?
How about you?
I'm actually pretty good. I keep getting really sharp pains, but other than that, I have I don't want to say no pain, but very minimal, and I'm very happy right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's nice. I can deal with a stabbing pain once in a great while, but the numbing pain that's normal is really muted right now, and it's like my whole body just sighed in relief. And I blame it on my wife. She woke me up today, and I was still tired, and then I realized I wasn't in too much pain. I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna get up and enjoy the day.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually in a really good spot and feeling pretty good about myself and the world around me. And then I went on to Twitter.
Oh, that's always a mistake.
Yeah. Today's kitty cat that's on the screen right now, there's actually a couple of them there, comes to us from Darth Mondo. Guys, remember, send me your kitty cat pictures because I have shitty internet and I use you guys to let me know that. It's a weird system I've developed here, Jack. Kitty cats let me know I'm still connected. And that's how I feel in the real world, too.
That's like Egypt level cat worship.
Yeah. I just think the Egyptians had so many things right. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree.
Astrology and... astronomy. Engineering, slavery, kitty cat worship. It was great. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was good. Something for everybody. Something for the whole family.
I go on to X, as it's known these days, and I see this Mario Nafal thing that was sent to me about the looming dangers of the new Y2K, Jack.
Do we panic right now or do we wait?
Well, I think we're supposed to panic now.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mario links us to the video of this chick with a either really weird hairdo or an oddly shaped head that she's hiding a big bump on this side.
Yes, both.
Either way, that part's unimportant. It's just the kind of thing that my eye spots and then I can't not see it anymore.
Yeah, I actually had the same issue. I'm like, what is going on with her head?
Why is this side of her head so much wider than the other side?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, she's not hideous or anything, but that's not helping the cause.
Yeah, you could date her. Just make sure you always only see her from the one side. You'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's a ginger, so you got to watch out for the shape-shifting and witchcraft. But beyond that...
Wait, does this mean morons are going to start hoarding toilet paper again? No. This is Y2K, not COVID, so we don't have to hoard toilet paper. We just have to spend billions of dollars to correct a problem that's not really a problem. Although
don't go on airplanes because you're going to crash and die, remember?
I do want to say that this one is a little more real than Y2K was.
Is it?
Now, everybody today, actually it is. Everybody today likes to pretend they weren't scared about Y2K. I really wasn't. You can actually go back and find old posts from me telling people to stop panicking over Y2K because it was retarded. And one of my favorite things about Y2K was an article I read that said, even your refrigerator could stop working because of processors that are inside it. And my first question was, who the fuck is buying refrigerator? You have to remember, this is a time when we didn't have all this dumbass smart shit.
Yeah.
Like today, if you go out and try to buy a refrigerator, oh wait, let me turn that off. If you go out and buy a refrigerator, you can run your refrigerator from your app. Which, how much are you guys fucking with your refrigerators?
Right? Like, why are you doing all this stuff with your refrigerator? It's stupid.
We set our temperatures when we got our thing and haven't touched it since. But apparently you need to have the same with like you can get a oven and you can run it from your app. Like who's putting the shit in the oven for you?
Isn't that like the premise of a horror movie? Like you're sitting at your house and suddenly your oven comes on by itself?
Right?
You're like, what the fuck? It's really somebody just hacked into an app and took over your electronics. That's nightmare fuel, man. What? And also, anytime there's stuff like that, it can be shut off. So
yes.
You got to worry about hackers. You got to worry about like, did I pay my $20 subscription so I can see what the contents of my refrigerator are? Ugh.
Now,
stupid.
For those of you who don't know what the Y2K thing was about, is that when computers were first being developed, they didn't think that far ahead, and for dates they only used 2 digits, and so they were like, when it hits 00, all computers are going to think it's 1901, and then we'll still run because the computer wasn't running just because it was 1999 for fuck's sake.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
If Y2K was going to be a problem, it wouldn't have been a problem until it started overlapping the existing dates.
Yeah, that would have been like 90 years. Like you weren't going to buy a new computer by then and nobody would upgrade anything.
The new one actually is a little bit more complex, and I don't want to say there's no problem, but it's not a problem that can't be basically easily fixed. And for the most part, has been. But let's let our little, I'm going to say fake redhead. I don't believe that's a natural color.
I bet the carpet matches the drapes.
I don't. That's a brunette who's done some touch up. Anyway,
real quick before we do that, thank you, Circus Zero, who says, "Hey Jack, hey Cirque, hope you're doing well."
Oh, that reminds me, I did load up Cirque. Thank you, my friend. No, that's from yesterday. I know there was another. It already refreshed. None of this matters. 31 Atlas arrives 1029. We've already shown that we can knock stuff out of orbit, so we'll be fine.
We're gonna fuck that up. Oops, we wiped out Iceland.
And thank you, Sir, who says, hello, my fellow non-Jack. Good morning, sir. Hope you're well. All right, let's listen to our panic-inducing woman here.
The internet has an expiration date. It's called the year 2038 problem, and it can break computers all over the world. You see, a ton of old systems keep track of time by counting seconds since January 1st, 1970. But they only use 32 bits of memory to do this.
What she's going to be describing, and I don't think she actually uses the terminology here, is called an integer overflow, Jack. Yes, this is an actual issue in computing that I am familiar with as a gamer, because a lot of games, do you remember when 64-bit systems became a thing?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of older games had limits on them because they could only handle up to 32 integers, and some still do that. And when you go past the amount of numbers it can actually count to, it causes an overflow, which can have a variety of different issues that pop up from it. Unlike what these people try to explain, it can be anything from like a tiny little glitch in the game to completely breaking it to bricking it, depending on what kind of game it is, right? And so if you expand that out to something like, say, your word processor, if it's counting for some reason, I don't know why they're all counting. There's no good reason for it to do that. But if it's keeping a running tally of what day it is, then eventually, yes, 32-bit systems will overflow and something weird could happen.
Could happen,
yes.
Yeah, you just like clear the cache out and all good to go.
Anyway.
That means the clock runs out on January 19th, 2038 at 3:14 a.m. UTC. At that moment, the counter flips back to negative numbers. So what would happen is that systems that aren't...
It depends, because there's signed and unsigned 32-bit system, or the 32-bit integer. Signed can do more than unsigned. And what happens? This is what happens when people who don't know about computers hear about something and they only get part of it. And there's going to be people who know more about computers in chat or like, Monkey, but you calm down. I'm trying to keep this as user friendly as possible. So this chick knows just a little bit about it. And oh my God, the numbers are going to run out. It's going to instantly go back to negative numbers. And
I will comfort her until she gets fat.
there's a really easy thing you can do here to find out if the system is going to, do that. Go find an old system that's not being used and move it up to that date. See what happens.
Isn't it more fun to panic?
It's much more fun to panic 13 years in advance and be like, the internet's going to die in a decade and a half.
See, a decade and a half. I'll probably be on some kind of machine by then. So, time to check out anyway. So, 60.
Somebody in chat asks, aren't most systems 64-bit by now? Yes. Computing moved to 64-bit back in the 2000s.
Yeah, but they're talking about all the old like DOS 3 systems that are running from like 1985 and running like our nuclear facilities and launch codes because the government doesn't update worse shit. That's what I'm guessing.
But again, I mean, this is stuff. This is an actual pretty easy fix. I'm not going to say it's not time consuming or whatever, but most of this has already been fixed by everybody moving to 64-bit systems, which just kicks the can down the road. How about stop telling computers to keep track of time like this?
What?
How about stop telling it, hey, keep track of literally every second. But anyway.
Patched would think that the date is December 1901. So imagine.
Why? Why would something that started counting in 1970 think that when you hit the integer overflow, it's going back to 1901? Yeah, exactly. Anyhow.
Imagine a hospital monitor, a banking system, or a flight software suddenly thinking it's in the wrong century.
Yeah, you're going to be on a plane and at whatever time she gave us at 3:14 UTI or whatever. You're gonna
UTI.
You're gonna be flying in a 797, which I'm assuming they'll have by then, and it's suddenly gonna think it's Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and like, oops, we can't keep this many people in the air.
Glider mode activated.
Fuck.
Triggered crashes, data corruption, or total shutdowns. And we've actually been through something like this before, the Y2K bug.
Yep. She's trying to panic you by bringing up Y2K. This is my favorite part of this video. We've been through this before. Hey, anybody want to tell me how bad your Y2K problem was?
What Y2K problem?
We've been through this nonsensical panic that we do to people who don't understand computers. And this is the kind of shit that would have panicked my dad. My dad was very worried about Y2K. I'm like, Dad, you'll be fine. No, all the news, we have to spend all this. We spent billions of dollars to fix Y2K, which wasn't even a problem. Yeah.
I don't really care what year my computer thinks it's in most of the time. It's not something that comes up,
Her vote is equal to yours, gentlemen. Exactly. Well, in fairness, Mario Newfall is the one who I saw retweet this uncritically. He actually just repeated all of the shit she said in his tweet. Might have want to give her a little bit of credit, homie.
Whatever.
So there's dumb people of both genders. I'm just saying.
But this one's a little bit sneakier because it can hide in embedded devices like routers, elevators, industrial machines.
Again, this is all shit that they said in 2000. In 95.
Why is this in elevators exactly? Like, are they smart devices now?
Elevators, it actually makes sense because most elevators are using digital readouts and stuff. Though anything digital basically is going to have some kind of processor.
I don't trust that. I don't know why. I'd prefer a bellhop. Fucking move the elevator anyway.
How much of it's going to be a problem? But again, they pulled this same shit in Y2K. She's like, this is more sneaky because it's the same shit that Y2K told us. Literally, they were telling us this in Y2K.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now your calculator won't work.
Yeah.
It'll just say 80085 constantly. Yep. Yeah, it's a mystery why that happens. Fucking ridiculous.
Great. Another reason for my landlord not to get the elevator working. Yes, it's just Y2K38.
Y2K2. The redo.
It's Y2K to the second power.
Ooh.
It's more insidious. All of those secret systems we told you were a problem during Y2K are now a real secret problem.
And totally for realsies.
Again, we do have all this nonsensical smart technology today that if this was a real problem, yeah, it's going to be a problem for you. If the integer overflow is an issue, yeah, it's going to affect a lot of life. It really will, because everything has fucking chips in it. When our washer and dryer died and we went to buy new ones, we were like, look, we want it as low tech as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no, look at this one. It's got this smart board that will sense all of the, no. I want something akin to what my mom bought when her and my dad first got married. I want something that's going to last 60 years and I might have to change the motor and belt. And they're like, no, we don't do that anymore. They work too good and last too long.
Yeah, exactly. Like a while back, my parents' dryer died, and I got them a new one. And I got the cheapest model I could. And it's already outlasted the one they had before, because the other one had all the smart stuff on it. We had to replace one of the computer chips in it, and we went through all this hassle, and the damn thing kept breaking. And this new one, fine. It's just the dumbest one I could find. And I'm not buying any of these fancy, overpriced gadgetry that I don't need. It's stupid.
When we got the settlement for my neck, we bought all kinds of furniture. We set up our house, which included a new washer and dryer. And at the time, the front loaders were just coming on the market. And we bought a nice Maytag system, which, by the way, they later ended up suing over. And I was part of a... what do they call them? Class action suit. Yeah, I can get like $5 from Maytag if I want.
Oh,
because they were molding on the inside. Mine never had a chance for that because the motherboard died in it twice. And the first time the guy comes out, I'm thinking, motherboard? Oh, it's probably some tiny... No, this thing rivaled what's in my PC. And I'm looking at this fucking thing going, are you kidding me? This is in a washing machine? And then when it died the second time, I'm like, fuck this. We're just going to go get something cheap. Travis, thank you. Speed Queen Laundry. Look it up. Speed Queen Laundry. I will look it up. Not right now, though.
Real quick. Thank you, Evolved Potato. It's always fun hearing about the Y2K bullshit. Of course, I, not even being conceived at the time, didn't see it firsthand. It's interesting. Yeah, like Doomsday Panic is always a good seller.
I think it was probably around 94 when I first heard of the Y2K problem. And as we got closer to the year 2000, it got louder and louder, and eventually ends up, we actually have bills passed in the House and signed by President Clinton about fighting the Y2K problem and spending billions of dollars we never meant or needed to spend on it. It was actually fucking amazing. Oh my God, Monk is a Zoomer. I am not a Zoomer. I am Gen X, and you people will respect the X, damn it. I'm so tired of us being ignored, Jack. It's like our parents did to us.
Yeah, we're a bunch of latchkey kids. Now it's come full circle. The grandkids are ignoring us.
Now they're ignoring us. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah, could this be a problem? Yeah, it can cause some issues. Is it going to cause the end of the internet? No. Shut up. This is retarded.
Things that people forget they need to update. We don't know how many systems are going to be vulnerable until
We don't even know, Jack. Oh my God. Again, same shit we heard in Y2K.
Isn't this something we actually could figure out, though? Because
yes,
isn't that like, we know what system, like the newer stuff is going to be upgraded so that it doesn't have that issue, I would think.
When did 64-bit Windows come out, guys? Does anybody remember? It's been easily a decade, right?
You're talking to the wrong person. I know what those numbers mean, but I don't understand how any of it works. My computer's gray.
I'm sure it is.
the date gets closer. Some experts are saying the impact could be small, while others say it could cripple our critical infrastructure. So is the year 2038 problem?
Some experts say it'll be no big deal. Other ones say you're all gonna die.
You're all gonna die. Yeah, everybody dies.
The next one.
When it was 64-bit in the mid-90s. There you go.
Y2K panic, or the digital apocalypse that nobody's ready for.
The digital apocalypse.
That's a great metal band name.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, so is it a problem, Jack? There might be some glitches. That part is real. That's what happens with integer overflows most of the time, is you get some kind of glitch. It's actually a great way to break video games if you know what system it's using and you know it has what engine it's used depends on or tells you like what systems are built into it. And one of the easiest ways to break games like that is to cause an integer overflow. And most of the time it doesn't actually crash the game. It just makes it so you can do really weird shit in the game. Now, we're talking about real life here. Remember, your plane's not going to know what year it is anymore. It's going to think it's 1901 and flight doesn't exist.
Yeah, I still don't understand how that's going to make planes fall out of the sky if the year isn't correct on there.
It's a great question. It is a great question.
Do they travel through time suddenly and retrograde? Like, oh, it thinks it's 1948 and suddenly Pan Am is back?
Suddenly all the flight attendants are pretty and nice again. And you can fit on the plane.
Yeah. We start getting food instead of whatever it is they serve now.
Oh, man. Suddenly all in-flight movies are silent films. Remember 1901? That's before even silent film, isn't it?
I don't know.
Certainly before there's any
like of the flickers.
Certainly before there's any films on planes.
Well, planes didn't exist.
Wouldn't it cause a paradox for the plane? Because the plane is going to look on the internet and go, "It's 1901. I don't even exist."
Well, I mean, it would definitely cause like an identity crisis for the AI.
The plane is going to have an existential crisis.
Yeah. Maybe it becomes. Maybe if you end up on a flight to India, so your plane could eat, pray, love.
Yes, it's going to be horrible.
Itself.
Look, again, there might be some minor issues, but again, a lot of this is already taken care of, and by 2038, just from normal systems updates, this shit isn't going to matter anyway.
That's what I was thinking. Like, we have over a decade to fix this so-called horrifying problem, and you're telling me that I'm going to have the same equipment? how much ingrained in poverty am I going to remain for the next decade that I can't buy new stuff?
Now, somebody mentioned on Twitter that like banking systems still use computers from the 1960s. Some, and like a lot of big corporations, while they've moved to like Windows-based systems, they still rely on a infrastructure of old DOS systems.
Yeah, I find that weird that that's still in existence anywhere. Like, upgrade your shit, man.
It's expensive. It's expensive to completely overhaul all that
I
stuff.
understand that, but if you're still having like some 80-year-old dude putting punch cards in the system trying to get it to work, for those of you that are old, you remember punch card computers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's insane to me. That just the cost benefit analysis. Yes, it's expensive, but at some point, the spare parts are going to be completely unobtainable.
Oh, they're terrified of screwing up their systems during the upgrade. They have to have these things operating on point 24/7, 365. Yeah, this is 24/7, 366. Yeah, and I get that too. Again, this is something people who don't understand computers is like, you should just do that. Yeah, but there's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of these companies, one company I used to work for that did this was Walmart. Walmart still uses the most antiquated systems you can think of, but they build on top of that with newer systems. And that's what they would do here. They make this, the planes aren't going to know what day it is. Damn it.
Again, it just has to land safely and take off safely. I don't really need it to know what date it is. Like, does it have somewhere else to be other than, flying in the sky? Does it have a dentist appointment that it's going to miss? I don't. It seems kind of dummy proof,
I remember the Walmart system. Oh, God, I used to fucking hate that system. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, Meyer was running on, like, Windows 3 for the longest time. I think that's what they called it, Windows 3. It looked like a DOS system. Real quick, though. Thank you, Circus Zero. Do either of you remember those stupid I Survived Y2K shirts? Yeah, I know some people that had those.
Yeah, I know people who had them, ironically, it's supposed to be funny, haha. But anyway, this is apparently the new panic, Jack. It's very easy to scare people about computers because they think they watch too much Terminator. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, look.
They watch 2001. They watch Terminator. The machines are going to get us.
Well, maybe someday, but not this soon.
We're fine. This is not going to be a major issue. The only way this becomes a major issue is if they test for it and find out, yeah, there is an issue, and then go, no, we're not going to pay any attention to that.
It would have to affect major systems, though, not just like, your personal computer is going to not know what day it is. Well, seriously, how often does that come up?
Monk says, my job has all the newest bells and whistles, meaning every time Microsoft updates, something gets fucked up. Yeah, that's another good reason to stay on older systems. We really do live in an age where updates are retarded. Like the last Windows update, I got back on my computer and I look at them like, why? Like one of the things now, if you move windows around, you can specify where they go. Like, yeah, that's what I was doing, dick. I didn't need you guys to spend time on setting up a little system where I can move the window to where I want it, but slightly different. That's what they were spending their time developing at Microsoft.
Most of the changes I see are annoying ones. Like you move you open a folder and you move the box up to the top of the screen to get it out of the way of something, and it immediately expands.
Yep.
To cover the whole screen. That drives me up a goddamn wall. Because little stuff like that, little changes like that are just annoying. Yeah, they're probably good for some engineer douchebag that programs, but the average user like me who's dummy doesn't need that. Okay? We already know where the little box in the corner of the window is.
As a gamer who loves Steam and has way too many games over there, I've started uninstalling games that I may play later because I'm just tired of constant updates that don't actually change the game. Like, we fixed one bug one guy had back 10 years ago. I mean, seriously, some of these games are 20 years old and they'll get an update that doesn't do anything. Okay. Some of these games have an update every week, Jack. Every fucking week.
What are they doing? Why not just do it all like quarterly or something? Then it'd be worthwhile.
It's amazing how many decades I played games without needing a single fucking update. And now they have to be updated constantly.
Yeah, that's weird. That's almost as annoying as like having to pay for DLC that should have been in the main game.
We had to wear clips on our ties, I shit you not, when I was in the Navy to not get them caught in the punch card machines. Yeah, it makes sense.
That's just irritating.
All right, Jack, I want to talk about Monsanto. Okay. And I want to talk about it not because I really care that much about Monsanto, but I just watched a video about them earlier. Let's share this screen instead. There we go. So it's called Exposing Why Farmers Can't Legally Replant Their Own Seeds.
Is that a dude?
That is a dude. And this is on the, what's it called? Veritasius. I forget the name of the channel. It's a very sciencey channel, and I do love the channel. I watch it quite often. This is, I haven't seen it in a while, so I was shocked to see this guy on there because I used to have a dude with brown hair or black hair and a black beard and mustache. But the science still seems to hold up. And he's talking about what happened with Monsanto. And for those of you who've been around for a while, and if you know who Jeff Holiday is, that was one of his big things. Like, Monsanto sucks. And I'm not saying they don't. But he was one of these GMOs are going to kill you. GMOs were not the problem with Monsanto. It's another one of those things where people heard something and freaked out because they don't understand science. With Monsanto, GMOs, the genetically modified crops, were not the issue. It was what they were spraying on the genetically modified crops. So I'm going to put this real small. Monsanto made a weed killer, Roundup. And the problem with Roundup is it killed everything. Like, you're trying to spray it to get rid of weeds on your corn, and now your corn is dead. So Monsanto came up with their genetically modified seeds, which weren't affected by Roundup. And then they did a whole bunch of dirty shit, which we'll get to in a minute. But this way, farmers could plant those seeds and then spray their fields and not have to worry about weeds and not have to worry about killing their crops.
Monsanto gets the double and triple dip in the financial aspect because they're selling you the pesticide and the special seeds that are immune to their pesticide.
They also had some really fucked up terms of service. Like, you had to sign a contract saying that if you had extra seeds, you wouldn't save them and plant them the next year. You couldn't sell them to your neighbor. Yeah, they had some really fucked up terms of service that rival video game software, honestly.
Did they come up with some seeds that once they were used, the new plants would have seeds in them?
So that's been going on for a long time from various different seed companies, but Monsanto becomes the biggest one because of Roundup. So they're the ones who get labeled with it the most. Which, as I told you right before the show, and I'm going to watch a video after this about a guy who grew tomatoes from a Whopper. He went out, bought a Whopper, took the seeds out of the tomato and planted them and was able to grow tomatoes from it.
It's kind of
Which
awesome.
is pretty fucking cool.
It'd have been way cooler if he had grown Whoppers.
Right? I would buy a Whopper plant. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Just for the conversation piece of nothing else.
So anyway, what ends up happening is Roundup is generally safe, Jack. Generally. However, in massive quantities, it tends to cause things like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Whoops.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen.
And for you and me, it's probably not going to be an issue because we're not farmers. But if you run a farm and you're spraying this shit all over and you get coated in it, yeah, you're probably going to catch some kind of rare cancer. And that's what happened. Lots of people got cancer from this shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've known several farmers over the years, and a lot of them tend to cut corners with safety, so they're not wearing gloves.
Yep.
Or a PPE in general. You have to be exposed to a lot of Roundup. I mean, like practically bathing in this shit for ages in order to get any of the awful things that happened. It's not something even professionals are going to get if they're wearing the PPE. But I guess the court disagreed with me on that.
Well, I mean, thousands of people sued, and some of them probably didn't necessarily have a claim. But once a company becomes a pariah, then every lawsuit against them. We saw this with the tobacco companies, right?
Yeah.
Like, I once sat near a smoker and now I have lung cancer. It's Philip Morris's fault. Thank you, tall person. Fitting you talked about the new Y2K today is Tester's Day. In 1947, the first actual bug was found in a computer. An actual moth was stuck in a computer and was causing shorts. That's awesome. I was unfamiliar with that story. Is that why we call them bugs? Because there was actually a bug in the system? That's funny.
Moths.
I hate moths. I was thinking about last night when I was going to sleep, somehow I started thinking about one of my old cats. I called her Miss Peanut. Her name was Peanut, but she was like the most prim and proper cat you ever saw. If you pet her, she would let you pet her, and then as soon as you were done, she would clean where you touched.
Yeah, she went to filthy, dirty, hairless ape scent on her.
She was a calico and just beautiful, and she kept herself so prim and proper, so I called her Miss Peanut. This cat would go from a sitting position to jumping 5 feet in the air and snatch a moth out of the air.
Huh.
She was the best hunter I've ever seen. I've ever owned as a cat. She was deadly and accurate. But yeah, she hated moths, and she was the moth slayer.
A little side story. Yesterday, I was sitting in the living room. And I look over at Kit Kat, and she's near one of the storage boxes that we're moving out. And she's dead set on something. And I see her bat at it a few times. And I look over, and she's got a cricket.
Nice.
So she smacked it twice. It didn't do anything. So she got bored and walked away. I'm like, kill that fucking thing. So I had to find my shoe and take care of it myself. And she didn't like the loud noise, so she ran away. Like, you're useless.
Between understatement and tall person, I'm being told that they'd called them bugs before that, but that's the first time they actually found a bug. It was the first bug that was found. Huh. Our cat Tiger one day, we're sitting in the living room, and suddenly he starts just, and we look over at him, and he's foaming at the mouth, like, what the fuck? A frog had gotten into the house, and he decided he was gonna fuck with it, and apparently it did not go well with his saliva. He was fine. But yeah, he tried biting a frog, and that frog had something on it that did not go well with the cat. Matt, thank you. Y38 is a stale retread of Y2K. Save your money. Well, if you're a normal user out there, You don't need to save your money. Just update. Next time you buy a computer, make sure it's a 64-bit system and you're fine. Anything you're buying on the market right now, all of this smart technology, one, don't get it as dumb as you can get it, but all of this shit is using 64-bit systems. No brand new shit is using 32-bit systems right now. Theoretically, there might be some people cutting corners. Speaking of cutting corners, let's get back to our story here. The reason I wanted to talk about this, Jack, is not because of Monsanto or any of the disgusting shit that they did. Okay, maybe a little bit of disgusting shit. He ends this video with a truism none of us really likes to admit, and it's that science is always political. It shouldn't be. Science shouldn't be political. It should be science. But go back through the ages. How many people were killed for heresy because they were just doing simple science? Stuff we teach in kindergarten these days.
Oh, quite a few.
It's always been political, and this is one of the times it was with Monsanto. And when they were doing the research on this, there was some of the mice who were exposed to Roundup. It's actually what glyphosate, I believe, is what it is the active ingredient that killed everything. But some of these mice got tumors. So what did the scientists do? That didn't happen.
Let's burn this paperwork.
So
like it's an Epstein file.
They send this to the FDA, and the FDA looks at this and goes, "We need you guys to do some more testing." At which point, Monsanto sends back, "Nah, bruh, I think we've done enough." To which the FDA went, "Yeah, you're right."
Well, I imagine the FDA guy was like opening the suitcase, looking at the money and closing it, be like, "You're good."
There were tons of studies done that showed Roundup perfectly safe. There's actually a great video of one of these guys who work for Monsanto who's like, "No, it's perfectly safe." And this was in Argentina. He's like, "It's not causing any cancer in Argentina. You could drink this stuff." And the interviewer goes, "We have a glass of it here. Would you drink it?" And the guy goes, "Of course I would." He goes, "So we bring it in, you'll drink it?" He goes, "Well, no."
And he says, "Nothing to prove to you."
And he says, "I'm not stupid." Like, huh? It's perfectly safe, but I'm not going to drink that shit. I'm not a retard.
Like, I'm not one of the rubes that I'm lying to.
But watching I do recommend this video. Again, it's called "Exploring Why Farmers Can't Legally Replant Their Own Seeds," which is really not the greatest name for this video because it goes over so much more than that. But I do recommend watching it. But it reminds me of both COVID and global warming. You know who was producing most of the studies that showed that Roundup was perfectly safe? The people who make Roundup.
Oh.
Yeah, it was Monsanto. It was their scientists who wrote, this is their wording, ghost wrote these studies. Now, what does that sound like? Who does all the environmental checking on our wonderful studies on global warming?
Global warming scientists?
Yeah, it's all the guys who are making a shit ton of money off global warming. It's all the people who get billion-dollar grants and shit, and not individual grants, but all of it added up to prove global warming. They're not getting grants to prove whether or not global warming exists. It's to prove global warming exists and how bad it is for us. Now, in this case, it's the opposite, where it's more like COVID, where they're like, "No, this is perfectly safe for you." We pay these people in our government an extraordinary amount of money to keep shit like this from happening. And this is the problem with government, Jack. It's
They're easily corrupted?
Yeah, it's not the government itself is bad. It's that it puts people in positions where they can be bad.
Yeah.
It gives people power. And what's the old saying? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. These people were poisoning folks, and all they had to do was be like, hey, be careful to massive amounts of exposure. Like you're saying, wear face, and actually with this stuff, you don't want to even get it on your skin. Wear covering. If you're going to be using this, wash your skin completely. The kind of shit you would see on a normal warning label for there's food labels to be like, don't get this shit on your skin.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do it with this, and that's all they had to do. They're like, it'll be a little bit more profitable if we don't tell people that.
And they should have been selling rubber gloves too.
Yeah.
And then they could have triple dipped,
Just be like, hey, when you're spraying your crops, be inside. Do that shit from a plane and be inside for the next day. Because the actual number of people who showed up with cancer, or at least the cases that they had, is something like less than, I don't want to throw out the date. The one number that I do remember is like 4,400 unfinalized cases. Which might sound like a lot, but with 330 million people, it's really not.
Yeah.
They just all happen to be the ones who are making our food for us. Whoopsie.
Yeah, that's a bit important of a point.
But just like with COVID, I mean, the signs were there. And if the people in charge had actually done their fucking job, maybe a bunch of those people don't get cancer. And instead, they're like, and you mentioned, hey, they got that suitcase full of money. At least that I would understand. But there's no evidence showing that they did this other than, well, these guys gave us a little bit of pressure and said, we don't want to test more mice, so I guess they shouldn't have to.
Yeah, like there's two types of government officials that are part of the problem. You've got the corrupt ones and you've got the lazy ones.
Yeah. Cowards
are in there too, but I classify them with the lazy ones more often than not.
And they are. I would even say that for some of these people, there's a smaller amount of greed. We're like, hey, I get to keep my job and just rubber stamp this shit. This is a nice, cushy government job. I'm not going to jeopardize that by being, good at my job.
Yeah, you don't want to stir the pot by saying, no, you need to do this. Somebody might complain. Oh, no.
But it was fascinating watching this and seeing the documents and stuff and how much it just sounded like Fauci was involved. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
We're like, if anybody commented publicly anywhere, like if there were message boards and somebody said, Roundup causes cancer, they were on that shit. They had a policy of not letting any criticism go unanswered. And again, just COVID right there. We saw that same stupid shit with COVID. Like, hey, some kids are dropping dead and there's no good reason for that. They all just got this shot. And they're like, how dare you be a conspiracy theorist? By the way, we happen to know that this is an issue. I mean, these say it's the literal same shit.
Right? Real quick. Thank you, tall person. Happy National Wiener Schnitzel Day. Wiener Schnitzel Day. Oh. Well, thank you. I will take my Wiener Schnitzel and celebrate it today.
I was going to have some better cheddars for lunch, so it's close enough for me. Cryptid, thank you. Who's the dweeb? He's the guy who does the front-facing stuff on this channel now. What the hell's the name of the channel? Should probably Veritasium. I don't fucking care. But I will throw this link into chat for people who are interested in this kind of stuff. It did make me laugh though, because I remember Jeff Holiday. Oh, there's some of the paperwork. I remember Jeff Holiday. It was big on the Monsanto thing, and especially the GMOs, and like, you didn't even understand what the real problem was.
Yeah, but complaining loudly.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, he also goes into what they were using before this and how they had a problem. I forget the name of it. Don't care. It's scientific-y. You'll have to look it up yourself. It was a perfectly safe. What was called? What's a weedicide? It's not weedicide. Weed killer. It was a perfectly safe weed killer, Jack, that didn't kill plants because it only targeted certain kinds of plants.
Yeah.
And it was perfectly safe as long as it was prepared properly. However, herbicide, thank you. I knew there was a word for it. I'm just going with weebicide or weedicide because it makes me laugh. But the problem was it had to be heated to exactly 170 degrees Celsius. And if you got that wrong by just a couple of degrees, it made an incredibly toxic not side. What's the word I'm looking for here? Byproduct. That caused, it's what eventually becomes Agent Orange.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The whole Agent Orange stuff, most of what was sprayed all over Vietnam was fine. But there was a tiny byproduct from the overheating process that was what caused all of those issues. The skin lesions, the debilitating acne. That's a real word or phrase, I guess. Debilitating acne, Jack.
God, how bad is that? Because that sounds horrible.
The same stuff that they used to use in Agent Orange is what they use in Roundup again now. They just process it properly.
What?
And this is another thing where Monsanto was told about this, Monsanto and Dow, because they were both making it. And they were both like, we don't know it. What? Huh? Monsanto claims they never got because it was German scientists who figured this out. And they sent it.
Of course it was.
Of course, yeah. If you want to find out how, chemicals are killing people, go ask the Germans. They figured it out and they told both Dow and Monsanto. Monsanto's like, we never got that. And Dow's excuse is even better. They're like, we misplaced that memo.
That got lost in the mail.
Yeah, whoopsie. Yeah, if they just done it right, there's no Agent Orange problem. Because it was a very tiny amount of it, but it only takes a very tiny amount to be absolutely ridiculously toxic to humans. Whoopsie. I like Agent Orange, great band. I love my kitty who is Agent Orange. Just saying. But anyway, check out that video and tell me that it doesn't fit right in with things like global warming and COVID.
Did they have that same problem with like DDT where they were overhyping what the problem was and a bunch of people died of malaria because of that?
DDT is another one where the science behind it, it doesn't matter how good the science is. Some people went, it's killing folks. And they were like, oh my God, time to bankrupt that company and let mosquitoes reign. Thank you, Cryptic. In Asia, we call it Agent Yellow. Stop.
That's my code name when I'm an undercover sexy time.
Yeah. Yeah, but check it out because it's amazing that our government is still doing this. And look, Monsanto are dickbags and stuff, but if our government had done its job, that doesn't happen. If our government had done its job and forced them to, it's amazing the process that it takes to get something approved in our country through the EPA and the FDA, and that they fuck it up so often is ridiculous. Like there was a big push not that long ago, Jack, to go get your drugs in Canada because Canada's like, oh, you got a new drug? Fuck it. Yeah, we'll let you guys take that. And here in the States, there's a much longer approval process. And then we have the opioid crisis.
Yeah.
You know, because the drug company said this is non-addictive, and the people who are paid to buy you and me with our taxpayer dollars to look at this shit and find out if it's okay went, well, you said it's okay. That's good enough for me. And yeah. How many people died of opioid overdose? But hey, they couldn't know. They were lied to, guys. No country has the strict standards we do, and no country has the problems we do with things like the opioid crisis. Kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little contradictory, doesn't it seem?
The country with the most controls on this shit keeps just fucking it up over and over again. And again, this goes back to what he says at the end of the video. The truth nobody wants to talk about is that science has always been political and always will be. Largely because it's very easy to scare people, with things like Y2K, because most people are running around watching sports or I don't know what the modern equivalent of the Kardashians is, Instagram, and just living their normal life. And all you got to do is come up and go, science is going to kill you. And they're like, oh my God.
We should just outlaw science and get it over with.
We probably should.
Save a lot of problems, I think.
Anyhow, let's move along to a retard. In this case, Jeremy, because we haven't shit on him in a while, and damn, I've been itching to.
Oh man, there's been a lot going on with that dumbass too. So,
well, you've been telling me about how much he's been e-begging and shit. And look, guys, we're brought to you by you. If you can, please tip the show. They're tips, not donations, for tax reasons.
Yeah, and, because donations, there's no tax write-offs here, so it's just tips.
These are tips.
So, treat us like that
please,
sexy waitress and leave a big tip.
Please consider tipping Jack or myself. I have no problem with people shilling themselves. It's part of the deal. There's some people who never do it, and that's fine. What annoys me about those people is they try to hold themselves up as somehow more righteous than the people like, hey, please donate to me.
Yeah, but they're usually bigger YouTubers that don't need to ask for donations or tips, because let's face it, we're small channel, so we need the money. This is how we're trying to survive.
Well, I don't even care if big people do it. It's just that they hide behind their massive audience to pretend they're somehow more righteous than the people who do. I know big channels who shill themselves, and I have no problem with any of them.
No, but it's the moral righteousness, it's disgusting.
Where it does become a problem is when that becomes their whole brand. Is just, I need your money, guys.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have personality and you're not entertaining,
Well, or you just misspend your fucking money.
Oh dear God! You really didn't seem to grasp what I was telling you when I tried to tell you about this previously. You're like, yeah, I'm sure it's bad, but it's not that bad.
It's not that. It's having the hard numbers just makes it more real to me.
Yeah, the tangibility of it. And I knew he would fuck up and start telling on himself, because he always does.
Now, we're going to look at this in the way that I watched it this morning. And it started with this video where he's bitching about Sydney Watson.
Yeah.
It's disappointing to hear about Sydney, but I don't know what anyone takes Lauren Southern seriously. Yeah, I mean, I was heartbroken when I saw her messages. She literally told people, I went out of my way to try and help her with her tea company. And she had no idea how to do fulfillment or any of this shit. And I was like, hey, let me.
Fulfillment just means sending people the stuff they ordered. You're telling me she had no idea how to send people the stuff that they ordered?
Well, she's Australian, so I assume they just put their mail out for a kangaroo to come around and put in their pouch and hop off with. I don't know how mail systems work in Australia.
They just tell Kanga to take care of it.
Yeah, they put it on a boomerang and chuck it at a local, and some abo delivers the mail. I don't know. There's an abo distribution system, some kind. They ride emus around.
The good ones do.
Yeah, well, properly trained abos are emu riders. I'm pretty sure that's science. Evolved can correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
Help you with that. And because she didn't like the price that it would cost me, by the way, I was making no money on it. She told all these other people in these private DM groups that I was ripping her off.
This part had me a little confused. She didn't understand fulfillment. So what? You were going to do all the fulfillment for her tea company?
I have the impression that's what he's actually saying, but he's trying not to admit it.
Because otherwise it makes no... Why would she need to pay you for that?
Yeah, well, she might have been paying him as a consultant too, but I think it's more likely he was trying to get her to let him do the distribution, and he was charging her for it.
Analin says fulfillment at scale is actually pretty hard. It depends on what you're trying to do, but when you're talking about these people who are making internet coffees and teas, these people aren't sending out tens of thousands of these. They're a couple. Do you know who does all of his own fulfillment and sells hundreds of thousands of hard copies? Tom McDonald. He does it all himself. And it can be done. I get what you're saying, that it's the more you're having to send out, the more involved it becomes. But all it is the same process. You just need to maybe involve some more people or have a specific system set up. I get what you're saying, but again, we're talking about Sydney Watson's tea. How many of you guys even knew Sydney Watson sold tea? I had forgot that she did. I had seen her pimp that stuff out before.
Yeah, I might have been vaguely aware of it and totally blocked that out of my memory box.
If you guys are buying favorite YouTube creators, let me know. I'll send you some Folgers for some money.
Put a big monkey face sticker on it.
Yep. I will either wipe my wiener on it or not wipe my wiener on it, depending on your preference. Anyway.
But by the way, meanwhile, I had paid about a quarter of $1 million to start the Publica, and she'd paid $0.
You paid $250,000 to start a website.
Yeah, they were in that joint venture, and apparently he dumped $250,000 into it.
Gross, dude. Well, you're definitely going to want the non-penis variety.
You want it flavored or not?
This was a startup website that he was trying to do as a news site. Do you remember he was doing it with what? Was that Ian Miles Chong?
No, it was Sydney Watson.
Oh, no. Ian Miles Chong and him did the gaming site.
Yeah. Gaming thing. Worski was involved in that too, I think.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Worski and Chong. I know didn't he have a gaming site for a while? I swear he did.
But he's been involved in so many ventures, it's kind of hard to care.
I understand having to pay, writers, but I mean, I've seen his site. It's not like they had that much. That was Worski and Chong. Okay. I swear he was involved in a gaming one, though. I just don't remember what it was. Anyway, there's no reason to be spending $250,000, even going in with somebody else, to start a website like that.
That seems like an excessive amount of money. I don't know, man. That if somebody told me that, I'd be like, yeah, I don't think we're going to invest in that.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I was already $250,000 in the hole. And then I was still willing to go further to help her with her tea company. And she was at the same time telling all these other women who I won't out, that I was ripping her off and trying to screw her over. I didn't give a fuck about fulfilling her tea. I don't care about that.
I feel like there's part of the story left out.
There definitely seems to be some parts missing.
Yeah. Jeremy, as a married man, how does your wife feel about you spending all of this money on this woman? You know what I mean? I can't imagine telling my wife, "Hey, I'm setting up this company for me and Sheila." I don't know a Sheila. That's a good name to throw out. She's not going to put any money in, and I'm going to take care of her tea business for her. Probably going to cost me around $300,000. You're okay with that, right, honey?
Is it okay if she touches my wiener for all that? Because I don't even think that happened.
He didn't care. Why'd he help? Good question, right? And look, I got to be honest, okay? It seems like mega simping. I'm not saying he thought he was going to get to touch her boobies or anything, but I have noticed Jeremy's not hanging out with a bunch of ugly chicks. Sydney's cute. Melanie, I mean, she's starting to show her white girl inclinations, but she's cute. Even that Hannah chick is cute. Hey, Jeremy, how come you're not spending all this money on any ugly chicks?
Yeah, no, there's no fatties in his entourage.
No fatties, no giant boils or anything. No.
Yeah, no major uggos. Yeah, there's something weird going on here.
Now, I'm not saying he's trying to get into their pants or anything. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just suggesting that he thinks with his wiener and like, maybe she'll like me, to make up for the fact he grew up looking like this and now he can get attention because he has money. Anyway, let's go back. So that led me to this because I follow tweets, Jack, and like $20,000 for streaming. Where does the money go? And at this point, I hadn't heard about the $20,000. So we get this video here, which explains the $20,000.
Okay. Jeremy said several times, I know that the show costs $20K a month. Yes, it does.
His Rumble show costs $20K a month.
Yeah. Now, I had heard this number for a long time, but it was just sort of spoken in like speculation. But now he's confirmed it for sure. $20K a month. If once you figure out how much his co-hosts, how many of these guys, he's got 3, they're making about $5,000. I'm sorry, $500 an episode that they're on.
Yeah, because he does 5 shows a week. Friday shows is just him. So 4 days a week. He has 2 other co-hosts most of the time, sometimes 3. And he is paying them plus whatever editing gets done to these. I don't know what he pays his editor for this.
His thumbnail guy.
$20,000 a month. That is a ridiculous amount to spend on a stream where it's 3 to 4 people looking at articles and talking about them.
Yeah. We do that. I'm in my fucking kitchen. my expenditure was at one point I bought a second monitor.
I have to pay for my internet.
Yeah.
I have to pay for my Adobe subscription.
Yep.
Which I don't have to. I could and have considered just going back to like CS3 when you could just own the fucking thing.
Yeah.
What else do I guess my electricity bill would count.
StreamYards,
yep, because they do charge. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you're talking a couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
Between us, it's probably less than $250 for all our expenses. So that's I'm including my my drink budget in there too.
Yeah, the amount of ongoing expense is very low to run a stream.
Yeah,
Even a stream like his where he tries to do more fancy stuff, like he's got his all he's doing is using OBS there with an overlay. Even if he paid somebody for the overlay, he can use it all the time.
yeah, and I would never pay a thumbnail guy.
I don't understand the people who do, but a lot of people do.
I don't get it. Like, you want jazzy thumbnails, learn to use Photoshop, dude. Like, that's why all my thumbnails look like shit. Because I don't care that much. The thumbnails don't do that much for you. I've seen Jeremy's thumbnails. They're not that exciting, you know. They're I just don't get how you could piss away that much money. And I've watched several of his streams over the past few weeks. There have been times where he makes almost nothing on a Friday stream. And he doesn't listen to his audience. He keeps promising he's not going. Like, if you listen to or read what they're saying how he doesn't fulfill the promises that he makes about exclusive content.
Mm-hmm.
They don't particularly like his co-hosts, or they like his co-hosts and not him because he interrupts them constantly.
I have never. I know lots of people who do this. They'll do like, if you donate through Patreon, I'll talk to you once a month, and then they never do it. And I decided very early on that it's not that I don't want to do something nice like that or have like member only content. One, I think it's kind of dickish, but I get it. However, I'm too scatterbrained to remember to do that shit.
Yeah, it's a pain in the fucking ass. I do it because I do comic book videos. They're like 5 minutes long, so that's an extra hour or two of work. You know, it's not that bad.
Yesterday, I forgot that it was my YouTube anniversary after just talking about it on Friday.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't do that stuff. It's not that I like I'm better than that. No, I wish I had the brain that would remember that stuff. And from what I've seen, most of these YouTubers who do that kind of stuff, most of them forget anyway.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a point where unless there's some major life event, you should really try and pay attention to your obligations, you know? If you're promising people that all the time, like he does, then you really should be more attentive to it.
Weezy says, Monk, just send out pre-recorded messages. I would have to remember to record them and then remember to set it up.
You got to remember to edit them, and it can be a bit of a pain. I've been doing the early access stuff for the movie streams.
I know it seems like it should be easier, but I also know myself. And so I operate within who I am rather than who I wish I was.
Yeah, this is a good time to remind everybody we both have Patreons. So if you want to give on a monthly basis, it bothers me because he's promising like exclusive videos and he doesn't deliver, and he does this every 6 months or so. And people say that he'll do it for like 1 or 2 videos and then he quits.
Weezy says I was joking. Oh, that's fine. I didn't take it personal, but I do have to explain this from time to time. Why people like, just give yourself a reminder. Like, who's going to remind me to remind myself? Like, just with my medicine, that was one. Like, just give yourself a phone notification. Do you know how often I ignore my phone?
Right.
Anyway.
Pay everybody a salary that appears on my show. That's why Fridays are the only day I make any money. Fridays are the only day that I make any money because I don't have to pay anyone.
You might want to be careful talking about paying people salaries. I wonder if he's thinking of the tax implications on that.
I don't think he is, because you should be specifying that they're independent contractors.
Yeah, because otherwise you're on the hook for FICA taxes. You guys
Yeah.
do know that when your company pays you and it says FICA, your company is also paying taxes on your behalf that you would never see.
Yeah.
A portion of it comes from you and a portion comes from the company. Got to be very careful with having employees. That's why we have independent contractors. Jack is an independent contractor. I'm an independent contractor. There's no employees involved around these parts.
Oh, hell no. Too much
be
tax
careful with-
liability. But do I get workman's comp if I get a paper cut? No, because I'm not an employee.
Yep. You got to be very careful with that wording there, Jeremy.
What else to be here?
Anyway, yeah, sorry, I stepped on him when he says Friday's the only day he makes money because he pays people to be there. Look, I get it. I mean, having some eye candy can help get you some more. I'm an unpaid employee. No, you're an unpaid contractor. There are no employees.
There's no interns either because they get rights too. Fuck them.
But I do get it. Yeah. Fuck interns. I do get the idea of having eye candy on, which doesn't explain Luke Ruandowski or whatever the fuck his name is, because that dude that's a panty dryer right there, Jeremy. Maybe did you bring him on to make yourself look better? Because it didn't help, first of all.
Oh my god. Remind me to find the diarrhea video for you.
I don't know. I know about the diarrhea thing. I do not want to watch it. No.
Oh my god.
No.
The looks on the girls' faces when he's explaining poop in your pants is
Oh god. We're gonna talk about
just the whiplash that they do sometimes because he's talked about pooping himself several times. It's really weird.
Yeah, apparently he claims that if he eats salad at all, he immediately gets diarrhea, which is not how the digestive tract works.
Not a healthy one, no.
We've mentioned this before, maybe a year or more ago. And there were some people, no, if you can have a problem where, yeah, very, very rare problems, but not to the point like lettuce touched your tongue so you immediately shit.
Yeah, it's not Crohn's disease, dude, unless you actually have Crohn's disease undiagnosed or something.
Even with Crohn's, I have a friend. He has to go to the bathroom after he eats. It's about 15 minutes. He had over 2 feet of his intestine removed because things were so bad.
Damn.
So he has a shorter intestinal tract and he can still make it to the bathroom. Now, talking to him, he will tell you he has to plan where he goes to eat. If he goes to eat somewhere and there's no public restroom, he can't eat there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just good forethought. Apparently,
Yeah.
Jeremy can't get on an airplane without pooping himself. So,
yeah, apparently this dude has pooped himself repeatedly. And why are you... This is like when Ethan talked about the Giardia thing that led to the CPS. If he just wouldn't have told the whole internet about everybody pooping, there wouldn't have been something for them to report on.
there are things you don't share with the internet, you know? I'm just saying.
You could even have that conversation with like, hey, everybody's sick. They're, having some issues downstairs kind of thing without getting as detailed as these people do.
Yeah. But the level of discomfort that the female staff show, or he called them staff, not me.
Yeah.
Some of the things he says, I mean, like, dude, you're going to get slapped with a sexual harassment suit. And nobody wants to hear about your poop either. So there's that as well.
What is it about these retards and telling the internet they shit themselves? I don't know. Maybe they think it makes them relatable. They hear people talk about problems in their lives and they're like, oh, you want to hear about a problem? I pooped my pants.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that. Maybe there's a funny story there that you could tell your friends that will be interested in that, but the rest of us don't want to hear it. It's gross.
Well, even then, there's ways you can do it without being nasty. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Why are you paying $20,000 a month, $120,000 a year to do a stream? And then he's got to beg for money. I can't figure that shit out.
Yeah. Did I tell you about his giveaway thing?
You told me just a little bit about it, and I was going to look into it because I'm very curious on how he did it.
Yeah, well, he kind of backpedaled on parts of it because now it's like a PS5 or a gift card of equivalent value.
Yeah, he was
You
doing
may not be able to find one.
doing a PS5 giveaway, and lots of internet creators have run afoul of lottery laws.
Yeah.
Because they do stuff like this. There is a way you can give away stuff on the internet, and there's ways you can't. It can't be like a contest. It can't be that you have to buy something in order to do it. It varies by state, so I don't want to give you a $2,400 a year. Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't even read your number right. $240,000 a year. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Where'd I get 12? Oh, I was just doing 10 times 12. 20 times 12 is 240. All right. $250,000 a year to make a podcast.
He could just given that to Sidney Watson and got it over with.
Yeah, no shit. So let's be generous and say that he splits that money equally between his editor and thumbnail guy and the guests. How much does that come out to each show? You figure 16 shows because it's 4 days a week, basically. Mm-hmm. And then I guess the other two have to pay. But he says he makes money on Friday, so we're not going to count those at all. What is 20,000 divided by 16?
I don't know, math people.
It's what, 1.4, so $1,400. I think I'm doing the math right. Or
1,250.
$1,200 per show. And if that's split between three of them, each of them are making that. This includes the thumbnail and editor I'm putting together. So if they each get an equal share, they're making over $400 an episode.
Yeah.
I've watched just a little bit because of you. And no offense to Melanie Mack and Hannah, nobody gives a shit what her last name is. They're not worth that. I haven't watched Luke because I can't watch that dude. He's funny looking. That's why I don't watch British TV. I can't watch funny looking people. So yeah, they're making $400+ every episode. I would do it for $400 an episode.
Well, speculation is they're actually getting paid $500, but even $400, you're giving them $400 just for showing up and talking to you.
Yeah,
isn't that like buying friends?
Hot friends.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Like either of them could call me for a booty call, but I don't necessarily understand. I guess they have to put up with the discomfort level of him saying weird shit then because they want to get their paychecks. But it seems like it's an exorbitant amount of money to pay somebody to show up. You know,
if they're making
days a week, it seems like a lot of money.
If they're, let's just go with the 500 because it's easier to do the math. If they're making 500 an episode and they're there 4 days a week, that's $2,000 a week, $8,000 a month. We're back to that fucking 8,000 number again.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it always 8,000 with these people?
I don't know. It's some sort of weird internet thing. We should probably ask Medicare about it before he metamorphosizes.
Theoretically, he is paying Melanie Mack $96,000 a year to hang out with him.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I'll be his friend for that much money. But he won't want me as a friend. I'll tell you the truth.
God damn, man. Well, who wants ugly friends? I know. I get the having pretty girls around. I do. I just think it's really sad that the only way you can get them around is by giving them money to hang out with you. Nobody's ever been paid to be on my show. And we've had some pretty women around. Just saying.
But we also, there ain't no money for that.
Ain't no money. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But today, I can't believe we had to talk about Jeremy pooping. I hate you, Jack.
I know.
Let's go back to kitties for a little bit. A little palate cleanser.
Yeah, it's just the waste of money of it all. Like, what are you doing with your life, man? You're making enough money to pay these people. Of course, he's apparently not now because his Rumble deal's busted. And ad revenue's gone down, and he's bleeding viewers. So why are you not cutting costs? I just don't get it.
Did you see the Crowder video? I did. I didn't watch the whole thing because he was annoying me right away because I can't take Crowder anymore. But Jack, it was about the stabbing in North Carolina, which we haven't talked about on the show.
Oh, the Ukrainian girl?
Yeah, Ukrainian refugee is riding a bus. It's a bus, right? It wasn't a metro or anything there.
It's either bus or subway. I don't know.
Do they? I don't think they have subways in North Carolina because of the water level.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't fucking know, honestly, but she's on public transportation, and this is all caught on video, and there's a guy sitting behind her who stands up and stabs her in the neck. Light rail. Okay, it was on a train. Stabs her in the neck, stabs her a total of 3 times, killing her. And turns out that the guy's been repeatedly incarcerated over the years, and that he's one of those people who shouldn't be on the streets. He's a homeless guy, Jack.
Yeah.
And
what was it, 14
arrests over the last over his lifetime. And he stabbed this woman. And Crowder he starts the video with a coming up section where he's talking to black fathers and like, where would you sit? I was like, oh, good God. I had an interesting argument on the internet the other day, Jack.
Oh, yeah?
One of the people I follow said, never sit with your back to the door, she said, or find a man who makes you feel safe sitting with your back to the door. And this other guy goes, what kind of man thinks he's going to be attacked at any moment?
Look, you think you're in a movie, monkey. That's right.
Yeah. I was told I was a star of my own movie because I do that. I have situational awareness. I'm constantly, at all times, threat assessing. Because that's my job. My job is to make sure my family is safe. So
what? You're trying to protect your family, protect people you care about? Oh, look at you starring in your own movie.
So Crowder is apparently, and again, I haven't watched the whole video, but arguing that you shouldn't sit in front of black guys. How about, look, that guy clearly looked like he had problems, and if I was on that bus, I wouldn't have sat in front of him.
No. That's the problem with not paying attention to what's going on around you.
Yep.
You see it a lot. I'm sorry, younger people. You stare at your fucking phones instead of paying attention to what's going on around you.
Same here. I don't like crowds. I try to be near exits. I don't necessarily look as I've gotten older and weaker and all that. Maybe I should, but as a big guy my whole life, I felt comfortable in most places, but I was constantly looking around and making sure that my youngins and my wife were safe and that nobody could get to them before I could get to that person. And maybe that's not the right way to be, but I've never been attacked, Jack.
Yeah, look, you have to pay attention. You don't know what's going to happen. There's plenty of crazies out there, not to mention like terrorists and whatever else you come across, but you just never know what's going to happen. An earthquake could happen. A fire could break out. It's good to know where your exits are.
I have a problem with it being solely the man's job to be aware when everyone should collectively be doing it. That's why you like Pearl, dude. It's our job as men to take care of our families. That's it is our job to take care of the women and children. It's our biological job. That's why we're bigger and stronger. If your wife's the one out there going, I think he might be a threat, well, then you're probably a woman anyway, if I'm being honest. I do find Pearl attractive. What kind of alcohol are you drinking when you watch her? Because I'd like to try that. There's a homeless guy that's been arrested for trespassing and shoplifting and basic indecency, who keeps beating the sprinkler head in his jail, breaking the sprinkler head in his jail cell. I think people like that, we should give them lots of long flowing things to decorate their cells. No one said I like Pearl. I'm just fucking with you, understatement. Calm down. I just say that to him because I know it pisses him off. Yeah, see, I can do it to you too, fucker. He likes to send me things that irritate me. So there you go. How you like me now? I don't watch her material, but I do find her easy on the eyes. Really? Oh. Kind of ugly women did you grow up around?
Dude.
Well, we're shaped by what we see growing up and stuff. So if you look at Pearl and went, she's attractive, I can only imagine all the women you knew before that were inbred. To be fair, saying someone likes Pearl is very serious insult. I know. Don't forget you started this war, old man. I'm a grizzled veteran, dude. What are you going to do to me? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I had a point about this. People just need to be situationally aware. And I don't know that this woman would have been any safer sitting at the back of the bus, because this guy was clearly just fucking deranged.
Yeah.
At least it wouldn't have been a knife from the back into her neck. She'd at least see something coming.
Is that better or worse?
Better, because you can't prepare when it's coming from behind. You can't get your feet up to try to kick them away, or get your hands up to try to, keep it from going into your jugular.
Yeah, she wasn't going to be able to fight that dude off.
No, but maybe somebody can step in. Be careful who you're putting your back to. And if you're living in a big city, this is why I don't like the idea of public transportation to begin with.
Yeah.
Because every fucking loser in the world is on there with you. And yeah, most of them probably just stink like Jeremy. But 1 in 1,000 is going to be a fucking lunatic. And I have enough problem being around people in Walmart.
Yeah, I hear you.
Don't put me in a closed system with them where fight or flight becomes a real thing. And the same people who are ignoring this story, they love Daniel Penny, man. Like, look, he killed this guy, and the guy wasn't doing nothing. There's no reason for him to have acted like that. No reason, huh? No reason.
Good boy didn't do nothing.
No one is stepping in these days. You know what? I actually saw something funny the other day. It's one of the few times I was like, stop it. I do believe that if somebody's being assaulted, as a man, you go stop it. You step in. But there was what city was that in? Was it Philly? I can't remember, but there's a shooting caught on tape where this dude just murders a woman with a gun in broad daylight. And the reason I saw it is somebody had tweeted out, no men stepped in to help. I'm like, what, you would have?
Yeah, you want to be victim number 1 or 2?
There's a dude firing a weapon at a woman, and you're like, no guy got killed for her. All right, yeah, Superman. You go ahead and be bulletproof. Let's see what happens. There are times to duck and cover, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are times to step in, like what Daniel Penny did. If somebody would have stepped in to help this woman, maybe, they see this guy and keep an eye on him, and when he stands up, they can react. And then there's times that like maybe I should get behind a bush so he can't see me while he's shooting people. Or be strapped so you can shoot back. Just saying.
Yeah, that would have been a preferable alternative. But in most of these big cities, they have a lot of really heavy gun restrictions, so you're not allowed to defend yourself. Sorry, go ahead.
I did see a suggestion that he had taken the gun from her, which is fine, but like his final shot, she's on the ground.
Yeah.
It was just straight up murder at that point. Go ahead, man.
Thank you, Cryptic. Pearl is a Midwest 6. Oh, that's a generous assessment.
Hang on, Colorado boy. You need to come out to the Midwest. Pearl is a Midwest 3.5. And I'm only giving her a half because she has boobs. Have you seen her lately, Jack?
No, I try not to look at her.
I watched that whole math video that Understatement has sent me. And there's several clips of her when the guy's gooning on her. And they're up close. And oh my God, she's not even 30 yet. And she's starting to look like she's in her late 40s.
She's not 30?
Last I knew, she was late 20s.
Oh, wow. I listened to the Jesse Lee Peterson thing where he interviewed her, but I didn't watch it because I find her odd looking, so I don't look at her. I like Jesse Lee Peterson. That dude's hilarious, but
I like Jesse because he's funny. He's not the smartest guy, though.
No, but he's funny as shit.
He's funny as hell, yeah.
That dude is a riot. He just gets these little zingers, and he just says stuff, and I'm like, I respect that man. I kind of want to hang out with him.
I'd like him for what he is. I'm not like a big fan, and I haven't watched a ton of Jesse stuff because occasionally he starts talking, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
I mean, you're not super religious or anything.
Thank you, Cryptic. You're right. A Midwest 4. I added 50 pounds since most of the Midwest are fatty folks. Fuck you.
You're talking about my people. The fatties and the Midwesterners.
I wanted to talk about this one. Why'd you throw up an ad? Boston Globe backs Spotlight star editor Brandon McCarthy, who was accused of berating reporters, according to a report. So, Jack, this guy on our screen here, his name is Brandon, which is probably why he's a douchebag. Don't name your kids Brandon, okay? Or sorry, Brendan.
Brendan,
like Brendan Fraser.
Only Brendan Fraser could pull that off.
Don't name your kids stupid things that's going to cause them to be retarded, okay? Anyway, he's the editor of this Spotlight thing in the Boston Globe where they do real deep in-depth reporting. And
sure,
I have a conundrum here because I don't know who to hate.
You can hate everybody.
When I saw what he's accused of, you guys can read it on the screen if you want to. I'm not going to read through this again. But he's been accused of being mean. Now, when I tell you he's being accused of being mean, I want you to first impression, man or woman complained?
Woman.
It was a woman who complained. And she complained that he yelled at her and he was mean to her. And then some other unnamed people were like, yeah, he's mean. And this is the first part of the equation here is that men and women shouldn't work together. I'm on that train, Jack. Men and women, you can work in the same company and stuff, but there should be like a partition that keeps them from getting near each other. They shouldn't be allowed to interact in the workplace because men and women interact differently.
You guys heard it. Monkey wants segregation.
I do. I want sexual segregation in the workplace because women, how do I put this? They're
crazy.
No. They tend to be.
That was just an observation. I wasn't guessing.
Oh, okay. They just tend to be overly sensitive to shit. Like you and me can have a conversation and we can disagree about stuff, and neither one of us comes away thinking the other one called him retarded.
No, not unless you specifically say it. And even then, I know you're joking most of the time.
Right. Meanwhile, we could have that same conversation with a woman and she'd be like, why do you hate me?
How long do you have?
That's a real conversation I had with my best friend's wife, because we would all sit around the table and you know how I am. I'd make fun of everybody, including myself. But one day she comes, why do you hate me? I'm like, huh? Like, well, you always make fun of me. Like, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't make fun of you. I wouldn't talk to you.
Yeah, they get real upset if you're like, hold on, let me get my folder out of my car. It's got a flow chart in it.
And we just shouldn't interact like that, especially in the workplace where now you have lawsuits and shit all the time. So with that in mind, knowing that it was women bitching about a man who was being too mean, I'm almost on his side. But women aren't always wrong. Sometimes there are misogynist shitbags, and this guy works for the Boston Globe, so...
Oh, so he's a lefty, so yeah, he's probably a misogynist.
Chances of him being a male feminist are pretty high.
Yeah, they're awfully anti-woman for people that claim they're women lovers.
And this is a media company investigating its own in something that could lead to a lawsuit. And they cleared him. So we have the media investigating themselves and clearing themselves.
I'd never like it when we investigate ourselves and found no wrongdoing.
Yeah. So I'm torn between shitty media company and women are too sensitive. I'm not sure which is which, or what's going on here. It could be a little of both.
Probably is. They're probably both shitbags.
It could have been that he specifically targeted this woman because he hated her and treated her like shit. And he's a generally nice boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not both? That's what I decided on, Kyle. Like, fuck them all. But it's rare that I read a news story where I'm like, oh, I can't pick the bad guy here. Because they all suck. And it's another reason men and women shouldn't work together. Because if they weren't working in the same office and she had some editor who was like, sweetie, you tried so hard, then this would be a problem. Look, I used to have a manager at Walmart, and he was hard to take, Jack, because he didn't understand that not everybody understands you're joking.
Yeah.
And as the co-manager, that makes him second in charge of the store. And you have to have a more sensitive outreach kind of thing going on when you're talking with mostly female employees, because that's what most of Walmart workers are.
Yeah, you got to walk a minefield. Don't dress it up.
Cryptic, thank you. I work in a very liberal company. The women here are insane. The jokes I usually make would get me fired. Yeah, I'm not shocked by that.
No, and you're hilarious, Cryptic. So it's so hard to restrain sometimes,
This manager was actually a really nice guy. And he was funny if you understood he was joking. But he would do that with somebody he just met.
Ooh, that's a terrible plan. That's how I get thrown out of places.
Yeah, it's like he didn't understand that you have to build up a repertoire with people. You can't just jump right into you suck at your job.
Yeah.
And so they would come to me because it was usually cashiers. And at the time I was over the front end, like, he was mean to me again. I'm like, he's not actually being mean. He's just awkward. But they would get so pissed off. And he was actually a really good manager. I only ever had 2 issues with him. And in both of those instances, he probably should have fired me for the way I spoke to him. But he was actually a nice guy. And he just didn't understand how you have to talk. And he did the same thing to the guys, but none of the guys took it offensively. And especially if any of them got like, wait, what did he just say? Like, he's kidding. That, oh, okay, got it. But the women, you could explain it to him. No, he was joking. This is his sense of humor. And like, but he still hurt my feelings. And men and women just shouldn't work together.
Yeah.
Frankly, we probably shouldn't interact at all, except for copulation. Because, dear God, the amount of times I've had arguments that came out of a misunderstanding.
Oh, yeah. But then again, how would you get your dinner ordered in?
If I was your boss, Monkey, I would never fire you. I was fired from that job, and they were forced by a woman, by the way, to rehire me. Men and women, we communicate differently. I've told this many times about the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and that fucking Dr. Gray asshole. Men communicate directly. Women communicate in code. So men need to learn to communicate in code. If ever you wanted to know that psychology is for women, that statement tells you it all. Like, you can either have direct communication, or we can try to guess what people mean. And what you guys should be doing is trying to guess what people mean. No. Women need to learn to communicate directly. That's all.
What?
Knock off that code bullshit. The number of times my wife has gotten mad at me for things I didn't say is fucking astounding.
Let's see the dream you said it, Monkey.
This is a true story going back to way early in our relationship. We're just dating at this point, Jack. So we're back in the 90s right now. We had a plan to go to a baseball game and then go to dinner. We went to the baseball game and it was kind of late afterwards. So I said, do you still want to go to dinner? And she heard, I fucking hate you and want you to die. And I was like, huh? And this led to a huge argument because apparently asking if she still wanted to go to dinner was me saying I didn't want to go to dinner.
Yeah, well, date's over, honey. I'm no longer interested in you. Find your own way home.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't even understand what just happened there.
Why are we fighting?
I was confused. Where did that come from? Women. That's how women think, Digi. They look for the hidden meaning in everything. All of those memes, like the guy and girl laying in bed, and she's like, he's probably thinking of some whore he wants to fuck. And then they show his mind, and he's like playing a video game.
Yeah, think about the Roman Empire.
This is why women will ask you, when young men, if you haven't dated yet, when you date a woman and you're hanging out with her, eventually she will say these words to you. What are you thinking? And you're going to be like, huh?
You were staring off into space, daydreaming about nothing, and literally just zoning out. And you're like, nothing. And she's not going to believe you. So what you say is, thinking about a relationship and how much I appreciate having you here and how grateful I am that you love me.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how much I love you.
Yeah.
It's short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah, I'm so lucky. And that's always a lie, but it's what they want to hear.
What are you thinking? Ladies, your minds go constantly, and I've learned this about my wife and stuff. You guys actually are thinking constantly. If I am sitting there staring off into space, I'm probably not actually thinking. My brain is in neutral. I'm like staring at the leaves going, leaves, pretty.
Yeah,
that's
kind
it.
of a Zen moment for you. Generally speaking, I've found in my relationships that when I answer the question honestly, they get horrified by what I was thinking about. Like, what are you thinking about? How long it would take acid to drip through your bone if you had it, just like Chinese water torture, where it was just a drip, drip, drip. How long that would take to actually go through your body. Actual conversation I had one time. And she looked at me like I just told her I want to skin babies with a fillet knife. Like, no, I was just thinking about it. Like, how long would that take? Just purely speculative. I wasn't going to do it to anyone. Hilarious. But yeah, that's weird.
certainly there's times you're actually thinking of stuff and it's stuff you don't want to share because it's sometimes, and that doesn't mean we're thinking of something dirty. It's just like it's meaningless stuff.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like,
Devil, you're here now. How many times have you asked a man, what are you thinking? And why do people do that to us?
well,
The
they do it
funniest
to us because it's a trap.
The funniest times that happens is you'll be like watching a movie and she'll turn to you and go, what are you thinking? You're like, I'm watching the movie.
I'm thinking somebody's talking during the movie and how much I hate that. That's what I'm thinking.
Devil says, I try not to. Try not to. Yeah.
They all do it because they all get bored at some point, or the curiosity breaks them, and they're like, "What are you thinking about?"
This guy will thank you. Man, do you want dinner? Female. Why do you hate me? Man, confused. This super chat was brought to you by men. Men, we don't know what we did. True.
Yeah, sadly.
It is amazing how often we get in trouble over shit. And my favorite is, I'm not going to. If you don't know what you did, like, well, I don't. I'll fix it if you let me know what I did. But what did I did?
You know that thing you did in her dream 3 weeks ago.
Devil Pup says, well, we have manipulative ways of finding out without actually asking. I actually prefer when you guys ask, and I just wish you guys would take the answer nothing and leave it at that. Because at least that it's the most direct women get, except for they're not being direct when they ask it. It's a setup. You're supposed to be thinking about a certain thing.
Them. It's all about them.
No, my wife doesn't do that to me anymore. That was when we were much, much younger that she used to do that. What are you thinking? Like, fuck. I'm thinking my day just ended. But yeah, men and women communicate differently, and trying to shove us together in a workplace environment is just a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. I listen to my wife's work stories and stuff, and I keep most of it to myself. Because there's often times where she'll tell me a story and I'm like, you're reading way too much into that. But she's working with women, so maybe she's not.
Yeah.
That's why I stay out of it, because it's women code. I don't fucking know. I much prefer a guy who's just like, I don't fucking like you. Like, good, I don't fucking like you either. We'll leave each other alone.
Yeah. Stay out of my way, I'll stay out of your way.
Men are broken women, so we have to act like them, right? Yes, that's the psychology view of things. I'll take that answer if you believe me when I say I don't get mad when you tell me to calm down. Okay, see, this is what I was talking before you got here, Devil. You ladies don't understand the male brain. This is why we're like, I feel like a man. No, you don't. Shut up, woman. We don't think like you guys do. We are not constantly chattering to ourselves in our head the way that you guys do. And I know there's going to be guys like somebody earlier said, I'm always thinking. Technically, yes, but not like women are. Because women, when they think, it tends to be worry, where I might be sitting there thinking, who was the first person to ever yell into a fan and hear that echo? Because that had to be somebody. There was the first person who ever did. Do you think he called all his friends over? Like, come here, listen to this. That's the kind of shit I think about. My wife, she's thinking like, what could go wrong today? Constantly, because that's what women do. They worry constantly.
Or
Big Dro says that was me. I seriously spend an inordinate amount of my time thinking about who was the first person to do this. Because there's a first person for everything, Jack.
That's true.
There is a first person who talked his significant other into butt sex.
Yep, and blowjobs.
Yeah.
And then combined ass to mouth,
Sometimes I can be too direct. I get called a bitch a lot. I prefer honest. Okay. I don't know how you communicate with people in general, but in fairness to people who call you a bitch, no, fuck them. They called you a bitch and you're one of my viewers and they're wrong. But
Yeah.
for other ladies, for the other women out there who get called a bitch, there's being direct and there's being rude, and a lot of people, and this goes for men too. There's a lot of guys. I'm just honest. Like, no, you're a cunt. There's ways of being honest without being rude.
Yes. Yeah.
Now sometimes there's no way to get around it. You're talking to somebody who's overly sensitive, and if you're honest with them, it doesn't matter how nice you dress it up. They're gonna be, why do you hate me? And they're all women. But no, I'm with you. I prefer being direct and stuff, but you don't have to be an asshole to be direct. Matt, thank you so much. My favorite, what are you thinking? What was I thinking? Was rice and raisins like the TV on an unavailable channel in the old days? Rice and raisins, I've never heard of that before. Talking about the old static screens? That's an interesting way to put it. But yeah, you don't have to be rude to be honest, but a lot of people don't seem to understand that.
Did a fat kid name that Rice and Raisins?
I hope so.
That sounds like something a fat kid came up with. Looks like Rice and Raisins. That's why I'm staring at it.
Those two cats, like my mother's cat. I got to tell you this Phoebe story to wrap the show up today. I got up to use the restroom earlier, and Phoebe always, well, not always, but 99% of the time comes and greets me anytime I go to the bathroom. And then I reach down and I pet her and I pick her up, put her on my shoulder for a while and pet her. Well, when I pick Phoebe up on the floor, if she's laying on her right side or on her back, I just pick her up and easily put her up onto my shoulder. If she's on her left side, I have to flip her a little bit to get her onto my left shoulder. She does not like to go on my right shoulder. Don't know fucking why. It's my cat.
Your cat has OCD.
Yes. Well, she doesn't like that flipping motion either, and she immediately starts to attack. And I normally get her up there and she calms right down, and then we go about our day. Well, she kept biting at me, and like, okay, so I put her down. As soon as I put her down, she turns and attacks my left leg. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And so I take another step and she jumps and attacks my right leg. I'm like, all right, Phoebe, leave me alone. And I took another step, nothing. And then as soon as I stepped with my right foot again, she attacked it again. It's like, get away from me. And so then I walked upstairs because I'm going to go talk to Lady Monkey. I get to the very top stair and suddenly I feel a swipe. She slapped me in the back of my leg. She got offended at how I was trying to turn her the way she wants to be held on my shoulder, and kept the grudge long enough to follow me up the stairs to attack me.
Well, yeah, you're not going to learn your lesson if she doesn't punish you.
She's playing. Yes, she loves to play. And you ever thought about the fact that cats don't understand that they're cats?
Yes.
To an animal, we're all just weird versions of them. We're all just mutated, naked cats to cats.
Yeah, we're just really awkward, clumsy, stupid, hairless cats.
Yeah.
We're like sloth to them from the Goonies. And real quick. Oh, sorry, go.
And I am her playmate. I'm the one who roughhouses with her. So when she wants to roughhouse, it's on me. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Cryptic. How else do you eat a donkey if it's not ass to mouth? I don't have answers to these questions. That's above my pay grade. I assume. No, I got nothing. Sorry, man. I don't know.
Walter says
like
cats.
A little ass to mouth, though.
Walter says cats seem to have female brains. I agree. I think dogs are like men and cats are like women. It's why I prefer cats. I don't want to be in a sausage fest. Dogs are big, dumb, and loyal, and very smart at some things, very protective, desperately needy for as much love as they can get. And cats get so much love, they're like, I don't fucking need you.
Yeah,
Get
we
me
domesticated
dinner.
we domesticated dogs. Cats domesticated us.
Yes. Well, cats are not technically domesticated. They evolved with us. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And yeah, dogs are they're big, dumb, and loyal, which men, yeah. Meanwhile, cats are prissy and touchy and bitchy, but they're so cute. See, just like women.
Yeah.
Yeah. No wonder I don't like cats. It's because of my misogyny. Chihuahuas or rats. Look, if my cat can kick your dog's ass, it's not a dog. Dogs should be big and fierce. Go ahead.
You would think so, but there's a lot of them little pocket rats. I had a weird thought today. I saw a picture of a bat, and I was like, from the side, they look like chihuahuas. So they're just flying chihuahuas to me.
My dog saved me twice from bears.
Jesus.
You need to move.
Also, give that dog a steak.
Yeah, that dog deserves all the steaks, but you need to move. No, I watched a video the other day. Somebody had sent me. It's these dogs just being overly loving. Weirdly, it was all women, and a couple of them, I was like, oh, there's been peanut butter involved in this. But in all of the others, it's just the dog wanting love, and it comes up and to like hug on them and cuddle with them and get all the pets. And as I was watching that, I was just like, my cat sometimes gives me attention.
It's more like being in an abusive relationship with a cat. Like
it is.
They will beat on you for a minute, and then a little while later they'll come back and be like, I love you.
Give me food. Fruit bats are bigger than some dogs. Look, okay, we need to talk about this too. I don't know if you've seen this, Jack, but in my area, there's been a rise of the service dog. Suddenly, everybody has service dogs again. None of them are actual service dogs. None of these people are actually like blind or almost blind or anything you'd need a fucking service dog for.
No, they're emotional support dogs.
I
get nervous sometimes because I can't handle social situations. Yeah, you're a faker 90% of the time. There are people like that, but not many.
I was talking to my daughter last night. She told me she went somewhere and somebody had a service dog. And like many people in the audience are asking, service dog or service dog? These are service dogs with air quotes. They're not actually there to do anything other than be a companion for this oddly 30-something women in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I couldn't find a man, so I have to drag this poor dog everywhere.
Yeah, the dog is there to sniff out her blue gumballs because she's fucking intolerable to everybody around her.
Well, this dog that my daughter was talking about was misbehaving and running up to other people for getting pet and stuff. You're not supposed to touch a service dog.
Ooh. And generally, they won't come up to you either.
No.
They need something.
But these goddamn attention-starved whores are like, I'm not getting attention. I'll take a dog in public and slap this service dog vest I got off Amazon on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the biggest excuse I've ever seen for that was, I have anxiety attacks. No, you don't. You have attention-seeking attacks.
Yes, absolutely. Monk, I can actually explain that. He goes, what an odd transition. Fruit bats, let's talk about emotional support animals. Well, you said fruit bats are bigger than some dogs, and most of those little dogs are the kind you saw people put in purses because a whore on TV did it.
Yeah.
Which led me to the people bringing their bigger dogs that are supposedly support animals. That's how I got that transition. Not as odd as you would think. I like the custom and border patrol beagles. What? I thought fruit bats were relatively small. I couldn't pick out the different kinds of bats, if I'm being honest. I don't like bats. I think they're ugly and creepy. I will, however, let a spider crawl on me. I have no problem with that.
Weird.
Are you an anti-pit bull person? That's a hard answer. I think they are more prone to being a problem because of their breeding. But I do think that it's still largely based on how the animal is treated, including things like when Weibo got bit by the one. That was Weibo's fault. It's a dog she didn't know, and she put her face in it. And I believe even she'll tell you that it was her fault. But I mean, it's an instinctual thing. You shouldn't put your, unless it's your dog and you guys know each other very well, do not put your face in a dog's face. Don't do it to a cat either. That you're likely to get scratched.
Yeah, they don't like that.
But pit bulls, they were bred for battle, and it's in them. They're bred for violence. Does that mean they're gonna be violent? Not necessarily, but there is an overwhelming amount of attacks that are coming from pits. Shouldn't be doing that anyway. White people stuff. I agree. Don't be sticking your face in a dog's face. But you shouldn't be having dog fighting rings. That's black people stuff. Hey, he played the white card. I can play the black card.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
He's not wrong. Some of y'all white folks are weird with your animals. Like, I do not like. He says fair. I don't like dog slobber on me. And there's people
gross.
that like kiss their dog while it's licking all over their face. Like, get that. No. No. So I like my cat. She doesn't lick me. Although occasionally all the cats I've ever had occasionally will clean my hair. And they don't actually clean it because my hair's clean. But I don't know what it is about my hair, but cats like it. My son has the same problem. My youngest son.
They're grooming you.
They just like licking our hair. It's weird.
No, they're grooming you. And maybe you have cat-like hair.
I keep them away from the top of my head because it's not an enjoyable experience, especially with Phoebe, because Phoebe has an oddly wet tongue for a cat. She will groom herself and she will have a big wet spot on the side of her. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, I don't get jumpy around dogs, but I don't run up on them either. I don't get jumpy around dogs. I'm not afraid of dogs or kitty cats or anything. Although I did see a video the other day of cats going crazy on vets, and this one cat chased a vet around the little examination room.
Oh yeah.
That shit was funny.
Real psychos.
What was I talking about? Oh, when it comes to dogs, I like dogs. My son-in-law's dog, my daughter's dog, I fucking love him to death. But he is very, very needy, and being a German Shepherd, he's also a very solid dog with a tail that wags really hard, so he will wag that tail and knock you over. I'm fine with everything with him except for when he wants to get in my face. I do not like. No, that is my space. No. Now, if you're talking about women, I am not sure what that's in regard to. I'm gonna just let it go at that, and we'll wrap up.
Trust them either.
Yeah, don't let women near your face either, or your wallet.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Devil Pup says, I love dogs. Lost both of mine in a short period of time last year. That sucks. That's horrible.
Sorry.
My cat Spice will lick my fingers while grooming sometimes. That's weird. Fair enough, though. But yeah, you know how cats lick you and they have that gravelly tongue?
Yeah.
Phoebe really doesn't because there's so much moisture on her tongue. It's weird. My daughter's cat, if you pet him, her old cat Tiger, he passed quite a while ago. But if you pet him, he would start drooling.
Yeah, Kit Kat does that. She'll drool if I pet her for a while.
It's the cutest thing, but it's like, that's so gross.
Yeah.
My wife got bitten in the arm by my sister-in-law's dog this summer. Ugh. Even with our dogs, I mean, I've never been bit by a dog. I can't imagine that feels good. Those little fuckers have very powerful jaws.
Yeah, they do.
Like you know, all these dog toys they sell now, they're like indestructible. My daughter's dog has never met anything that's indestructible. We bought him several toys and indestructible, can't be. And he has that fucking thing torn apart in minutes. They must have tested it on like a fucking rat dog. He also really hates any squeaking toys. If you get him a squeaky toy and throw it to him, squeak it a couple times, and he will immediately start trying to tear out the squeaker.
Wow.
I don't know if he really loves them or he really hates them, but he will destroy it to get that squeaker out. Anyway, enough animal talk. I'm going to go live my life a little bit, Jack. So, guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you so much for everything, for showing up, for liking, sharing. You guys did that, right? For all of the donations. You guys are fucking amazing, and we love you for it. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll drop some links to some stuff. As always, guys, thank you so much for all the tips that you give us, all the support. You guys are awesome. You're very, very good people for coming out and putting up with this nonsense night after night. I love doing this show. It's so much fun. And watching you guys chat, talk to each other, always a good time. So thank you for that.
Pissed Off Shih Tzu says, when I sleep, my cat likes to put its wet nose in my mouth.
All right, your cat's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I that would be annoying as shit.
It's funny though. I mean,
did I tell you about Phoebe's anger with my alarm clock?
No. Why does she hate your alarm clock?
I don't know, but I put it up on the dresser and it never goes off. I only have it in there so I know what time it is when I wake up. And every now and then it ends up on the floor. And there for about 2 months, every time I put it up there, she'd knock it back down. And then she stopped for a long time. And I woke up yesterday and the fucking alarm clock is not only on the floor, she's drug it partway under the bed.
Just hiding it from you.
Why the hell do you hate? Is there something in cats' eyes that pick up those? Because it's a LED, not analog.
Like
what's the other word?
Display?
Digital. Thank you. I don't know if there's like she thinks it's her laser pointer gone crazy or something. Because it is red, like her laser pointer is.
Yeah, it could be the color frustrates her.
But yeah, she hates it. She will beat the shit out of that thing.
I was going to ask you if it had like a character or something drawn on it. Oh, that's weird, man. Maybe it has like a humming sound that you can't hear. That
maybe. But if she'd stay off the dresser, it wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, she smacks that fucker all the time. Anyway.
I think the lesson here is that you're not allowed to have stuff on the dresser.
LED lights flicker to a cat's eyes. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I need to get one that's not LED. Yeah, but yeah, she fucking hates that thing. It's funny. Guys, thanks for being here, Jack. A pleasure as always.
Oh, I'm always glad to be here.
Take care of yourselves. We love you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Understatement wants to hump Pearl. And the show's over, and he can't deny it now.